Where were you in the summer of 2023 when the world watched in horror as news broke of the missing Titan submersible? What followed was a heart-stopping race against time, with rescue crews scrambling to locate the lost vessel in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean before the 5 billionaires on board ran out of oxygen. For 4 days, the fate of the missing submersible was one of the planet's biggest news stories. The private craft had been chartered to explore the wreckage of the Titanic, 13,000 feet below sea level before it lost contact with its mothership, the Polar Prince. The entire world was speculating on the traumatic experiences of those trapped under the ocean and wondering whether they might make it out alive. Sadly, after the deadline for contact with the vessel passed, its fate was revealed, and it was what experts had feared all along. Rather than suffering a loss of power, the submersible had succumbed to the enormous pressure of the ocean and imploded. Investigators concluded that the implosion took place around 1 hour and 45 minutes into the journey, killing everyone on board instantly. The U.S. Coast Guard's recovery mission was a joint effort involving the National Transportation Safety Board and the Transportation Safety Board of Canada as well. Let's see what they discovered 1 year into the aftermath of the disaster. Number 1. The recovery effort. On June 22, 2023, Titan's fate was declared. The sub had suffered a catastrophic implosion, killing all aboard nearly instantly. On June 28, 2023, partial wreckage from the imploded vessel Titan was recovered from the ocean floor, along with presumed human remains, which were sent for analysis. Number 2. More grim remains of the Titan submersible were found. On October 4, 2023, a follow-up salvage mission to the wreckage of the Titan was completed. On October 10, 2023, the Coast Guard announced in a press release that the remaining Titan submersible debris and evidence had been brought to the surface intact, confirming that the additional presumed human remains were carefully recovered and transported for analysis by U.S. medical professionals. These remains have yet to be formally identified, with no update regarding the findings of the analysis. It may be assumed that the investigation is still ongoing. Number 3. A distant early warning. Amongst those who lost their lives on board was the pilot, Stockton Rush, who was also the founder of Oceangate, the company that created the vessel. Stockton Rush was a man enamored with the Titanic wreck, and his determination to make the wreck accessible to tourists was matched only by his passion for innovation. The tragedy may spell the end for Oceangate, which has suspended all operations. Founded in 2009, Rush claimed it had been on the cutting edge of deep-sea exploration. The Titan was its second submersible and first to be designed and built from scratch in 90 attempts, all within the last few years. The vessel had reached the Titanic a total of 13 times. Its fateful final voyage may have shocked the world, but the marine exploration community was not exactly surprised, having seen the warning signs for years. The Titan was an experimental craft that no regulatory body had evaluated or classed. Titan's hull was constructed from carbon fiber, which was unconventional to say the least. Carbon fiber has many applications in aerospace, but has not been extensively tested or graded for use in submersibles. While designing the Titan in 2015, Rush consulted with submersible company Doer Marine Operations, whose president, Liz Taylor, spoke of the aftermath of the Titan's implosion about their warnings that people could be killed in the submersible and that the carbon fiber was not suitable material for it. The Marine Technology Society echoed her concerns in a 2018 letter to Rush, but the CEO failed to heed their advice. After repeated dives, the hull was even rebuilt in 2020 due to fatigue, and yet, the expeditions to the Titanic continued. Number 4. Highly unconventional design choices, courting danger by cutting corners. Few more hostile environments are known to man than the depths of the ocean, and in building vessels capable of exploring those depths, there are no corners to be cut. That, however, didn't seem to stop Stockton Rush from cutting a few anyway. Rush purchased cameras from RV outlet Camper World, touting the craft's off-the-shelf electronics. In a shocking discovery, the Titan was piloted with a third-party Sony PlayStation controller, which interfaced with the steering and propulsion system, not by hard wiring, but by Bluetooth. If one ever good-naturedly pointed out to Rush the jerry-rigged nature of the submersible's elements, Rush would, of course, take issue and characterize the craft's more unconventional design elements as irrelevant to its capacity for keeping its occupants alive. Editor-in-Chief of Travel Weekly, Arnie Wiseman, revealed that in advance of his participation in a planned 2023 Titanic expedition, which was ultimately canceled, Rush admitted to him that the carbon fiber used in the hull was acquired from Boeing at a steep discount. Why so? Because it was past its shelf life for use in aircraft. Number 5. Rush claimed that OceanGate worked on the pressure vessel with Boeing, NASA, and the University of Washington. This was not the first time he had invoked those institutions to boast about the safety of his design. In fact, a now-defunct page on the company website asserted that the Titan had been designed and engineered in collaboration with those entities. This, however, was not accurate. All three institutions have now issued public statements distancing themselves from the design and engineering aspects of OceanGate's endeavors. Number 6. When OceanGate employees had taken the company to task over safety, David Lockridge, the director of marine operations as well as the submersible's chief pilot, issued a report when it was nearing its maiden voyage, claiming that the carbon fiber hull wasn't tested properly and a scale model had displayed prevalent flaws. It was also visibly stressed in a way that could easily lead to catastrophic failure under the enormous pressures of the deep sea. The acoustic monitoring system for detecting impending failure, developed in-house by OceanGate, was woefully insufficient and would not provide enough advanced warning to make a difference. Alarmingly, he also stated that verbal communication of these concerns was dismissed several times. Rush's response to the report was swift. He fired Lockridge and filed a lawsuit against him, claiming that he had violated his NDA. Rob McCollum. He previously owned a company that conducted Titanic expeditions using 2 Soviet-manufactured subs and was involved with the planning of the Titan's expeditions, right up until the point that Stockton Rush made the final decision not to have the craft evaluated by classing agencies, upon which he departed the company. McCollum emailed Rush stating his concerns. You want to use a prototype unclassed technology in a very hostile place, potentially putting an entire industry at risk. The response from Rush was shocking and, in light of the Titan's eventual fate, tragic in its audacity. We have heard the baseless cries of, "You're going to kill someone," way too often. I take this as a serious personal insult. Strangely, Rush then invited McCollum to come work for him, and when McCollum refused his offer, Rush threatened him with a lawsuit, thus ending their correspondence. Number 7. Rush even tried to make his accountant the Titan's head pilot. OceanGate's director of finance and administration revealed that after Lockridge was terminated, Rush approached her to take over as the vessel's lead pilot, a position for which she was wholly unqualified. OceanGate was also staffed mainly with engineers who were likewise unqualified, just some teenagers making $15 per hour. Alarmed by the absence of anyone willing to challenge Rush, she began searching for another job, and as soon as she got an offer, she quit. Number 8. Rush did everything in his power to avoid regulation and liability. Stockton went to some pretty extreme lengths to ensure that OceanGate would not face serious repercussions if its clients were to face serious injury or death, virtually absolving OceanGate of liability even if the worst were to happen. Although the Titan was constructed in the United States, it was registered in the Bahamas and operated only in international waters outside the jurisdiction of U.S. law. OceanGate's clients did not purchase its services. They made contributions, and they were not classified as passengers. Every passenger was instead classified as a mission specialist. Number 9. Rush constantly talked about breaking rules and disregarding safety measures. Of all the glaring red flags, perhaps the most obvious was Rush's own and often repeated insistence that breaking rules is a good thing, a sentiment that carries the implicit notion that safety is secondary to innovation. At a GeekWire summit in 2022, he summed up the philosophy succinctly, saying, "If you're not breaking things, you're not innovating. If you're operating within a known environment, as most submersible manufacturers do, they don't break things. To me, the more stuff you've broken, the more innovative you've been." In a widely viewed interview with Alan Estrada for his YouTube channel, he clearly stated his disdain for pesky regulations. "There's a rule you don't use carbon fiber in submersibles." Well, I did. And perhaps Rush's most egregious comments came during a November 2022 podcast with David Pogue. You know, at some point, safety is just pure waste. I mean, if you want to be safe, don't get out of bed, don't get in your car, don't do anything. I think I can do this just as safely while breaking the rules. Number 10. Audio recordings obtained by the Royal Canadian Air Force team. Noises detected during the rescue mission were heard for the very first time in the new Channel 5 documentary, The Titan Sub-Disaster, Minute by Minute. These bangs, picked up by sonar buoys, were not available to be heard up until now. All 5 people aboard the Titan died when it was crushed near the world's most famous shipwreck. Well, if you can't cut corners in the deep, it's not about being a disruptor. It's about the laws of physics. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.